Yo, what's up? It's episode 6 of All Things Covered with Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. The name says it all. If you like what you hear, download and subscribe, and make sure you leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. You also can watch us on YouTube. Just visit youtube.com/all things covered. Yo, Pat, man, what we going to cover in this episode?
Man, today we're going to cover the huge overtime win against the Seattle Seahawks, the upcoming bye week, news around the league, and we're going to chop it up with my boy, D-Hop.
Entering in the first quarter of our show, All Things Covered with Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, and this is the Choppin Up segment of our show. We get a chance to hear funny stories from Pat P. I get a chance to give a few funny stories, but in today's episode, we're going to talk about music. And I remember last week, leading up to the Monday night game against the Dallas Cowboys, you told the audience, our fans, listeners, and viewers that you guys were bumping the new 21 Savage. So, question for you, Pat, is the 21 Savage new joint, is that your go-to song right now? If not, what is your go-to song, and what is the entire team listening to before you guys leave the locker room to go on the field to do battle?
Last year we was rocking that. We went throwback, man. We went that Waka Flocka. What song Waka Flocka? Dang, I can't think of the. I think it's "Oh, Let's Do It." So that was our song last year. This year, right now, it's 21 Savage running. But for what I'm listening to right now, personally, you know me, Mac, I'm a music head. So, new music come out every other day. So I'm bumping that new T.I. right now, man. That T.I., he got a track called Thank God. It's called Thank God.
Yep.
Man, that track go right there. Thank God that I made it here.
Okay, so that's in your playlist now. Yeah, that's in the game day playlist.
Yeah, that's what I'm bopping right now, man. When you was playing, what did you listen to? I know you was a Wayne head, man. I know you like that Weezy, that G.
Yeah, I like that. I love Weezy, Rick Ross, Outkast, Jay-Z, Fab. I'm a music head just like yourself. But my go-to was Young Jeezy, Everything.
Everything, yeah.
Everything. I used to have nothing. Yeah. And now I got a whole lot of everything. So that was one. And then when I really wanted to feel real gutter and ratchet, like I want to go like get real ratchet. Yeah. I put that Bootsy on. Little Bootsy set it off. I put that little Bootsy on, set it off.
Yeah. So, I like that Bootsy.
If we're getting ready to play it, and a lot of times for me, Pat, the matchup will really dictate the music. If we're playing against a team that we really not really stressing about, I might, vibe to some R&B. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like one R&B track I used to like listening to, especially we were playing the Cleveland Browns because we were gonna stump the Browns anyway. Like that, I'm sorry, but at that, during those times, man, we were hot. They were not. But I would listen to that Janet Jackson "If." I don't know if you remember that Janet Jackson "If." See, it's a story behind it.
I gotta listen to that. I know the song. I just have to listen to it again.
I was a big time Janet Jackson fan growing up. And one of my favorite shows as a child was Good Times. And Janet Jackson, I had a little guest appearance. Well, she was a featured guest. Oh, no question. Penny. I used to love Penny.
Yeah, she was on it. She wasn't no guest.
and when she, as she got older, granted, she was much older than me, man, Rhythm Nation, I was all in. So I carried Janet Jackson with me in the locker room because I felt like when I was listening to her, she was going to be watching me play. And that was another way for me to get motivated. But if we were playing Baltimore, I'm listening to Bootsy. I'm listening to Set It Off. I got to get ratchet because it's gonna be that type of ball game. But somebody like Cleveland or Cincinnati, I might throw in some Janet Jackson before we run out on the football field. If that was my jam. If. All right, now it's time for Cardinals Check In. Man, listen here, man. This is every episode is a big time episode. And, it's a 5-star matchup because me and Pat, we're in it. And that's how we treat All Things Covered. And this past Sunday night, Pat was involved in a 5-star matchup. Cardinals played against divisional foe, one of the best teams in the NFL in the Seattle Seahawks. One of the more entertaining games so far in 2020. Final score 37-34. The Cardinals were able to win that ball game in overtime. We will get into the specifics of the ball game with Pat P, but the emotions that were going through that ball game for you, Pat, man, talk about the emotional roller coaster you guys had to take part in for 4 quarters and in the OT period.
Well, you know, Mac, you've been in these type of games before. It really wasn't no emotional roller coaster ride for us, you know, because we felt like we felt like we spotted Seattle 10 points, you know, especially with that first drive, and they came back in the second drive and got 3 more points after that. We felt like we gave them 10 points because we wasn't hitting on all cylinders. Our communication wasn't hitting on all cylinders early on in the game. And we felt that if we just stuck to the strip and just continued just to plug away, keep fighting, our offense was going to do enough to obviously get back in the game. And at some point, it's going to be on us to make a key stop.
Yep.
And that's what we did, you know. And like I said, you've been in these matchups before. You just have to make sure that you rely on your preparation. You know, you can't get rattled. You can't get, in kind of a disarray, because you got a lot of football to play, and anything can happen at any given moment, as you saw. You know, we was down 10 with 4 minutes to play, and we scored 10 points, you know, within like 3 minutes. So we just felt that if we stayed the course and we just kept plugging away, that we was going to have a chance at the end to win it, and that we did.
Yeah, you talked about the offense. Listeners, make sure you stay tuned in with us. We have DeAndre Hopkins joining us a little later in the show to talk about his personal experience in that ball game Sunday night. But in the overtime period, I was watching, you know, at home, jumping up and down. But in the overtime period, I almost pulled all my hair out, right? And I don't know if you were quite aware of what was going on, but I think it was a little over 2 minutes to go. You guys were driving down the football field, and your head coach Kliff Kingsbury decided to attempt a field goal attempt on second down. It was a 40-plus yarder or something like that. In my mind, I'm like, might want to get a little closer, you know what I mean, to make sure that it was a makeable field goal, but to make it even easier. He decided to go for that attempt on second down. Did you have any concerns or reservations about that decision? And then seeing what happened mentally, how did you have to what did you need to do to go back on the football field to try to get a stop?
You know, honestly, I knew Zane. He haven't missed a kick all year. He's been ice cold. You know, actually, I think he missed a extra point, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But you know, as he's been with us, he's been, you know, a stone cold killer. You know, he's made number of game-winning kicks for us and some clutch kicks for us before halftime. So I took my gloves off. I was like, oh yeah, this is in the bag. You know, he's gonna make this. Then what I have a problem with is when the refs stand over the ball and pause the game, but the play clock is still running. The ref cannot pause the game when we're already ready. Yeah. Stop the play, and the play clock continue to run. That's why we had to call a timeout, because if you go back and watch it, the ref holding everybody off because Seattle was substituting. Yeah. And as he's holding everybody off, as soon as he got over the ball, it was like 17 seconds. So he started standing over 16, 15, 14, 13. I'm like, dang, hurry up. So now by the time he leaves, it's 10 seconds left. And you know, with the kickers, it takes them about, 6 to 10 seconds to get through their routine. They don't want to be rushed. So I'm like, you gotta go. You gotta go. Then we end up calling a timeout, and he make it. I was like, man.
Yeah, a lot of people say on Twitter, like, you ice your own kicker.
Yeah, man. I was like, come on, Zane. Don't worry about it. Come through, Zane. Yeah, that thing went up and just hung out to the left. I was like, shit. We gotta go back there and get a stop. We gotta go get a stop because
sudden change. Right. You hear it all the time. Sudden change.
You can't go in the game and on the field with your head down. You gotta go the game on the line. This is where legends are born, right here. Exactly. In these type of moments. So I call my defense up, like, hey man, I said exactly what I said. I said, man, this is where legends are born. And a quick story, we're gonna get Isaiah Simmons on here soon too. Before the game, I put this on both of my daughters. I said, Isaiah, dog, I said, this is why we drafted you. I don't know what it's gonna be, but you're gonna make a pivotal play in this game. Isaiah played 5 snaps and got an interception on the 5th snap.
Probably the biggest interception of his career.
No doubt about it. And what that's going to do for him, though, because with
confidence,
no doubt about it. With his role in our team, we kind of got him all over the place. He don't know his role. But for him to get that pick, now he feel, because when you're not playing coming from a big institution, you're not playing, you're like, damn, man, do I really belong? Like, you should really start questioning yourself.
It kind of messes with your confidence.
No doubt about it. So now with him making that play on the big stage, helping his team win the ball game, I was so happy for him because I called it out for him.
Oh man, that's good insight there, Pat P. Appreciate that, giving great insight.
Yep.
Also too about Isaiah Simmons, because we know the talent is there. He just has to find out exactly what the best thing that he does for your defense. 100%. The viral moment of the ball game, and could be the viral moment of the NFL the entire season, was DK Metcalf running down Budda Baker. I mean, it was trending on social media all night. It's a meme now. It's probably going to trend throughout the year. Man, now I saw the play from 7 different angles.
And I'm a vouch for Budda, man. I'm gonna give him a break here, but go ahead.
Yeah. I saw the play from about 7 different angles.
Yeah.
I saw you because you started to put it in high gear also to go celebrate with your guy because you actually thought he was going to score.
Right.
But in mid sprint, right? Because you had to see number 14 going to chase.
I was guarding him.
You ran a little under route, a little drag route. I saw a little drag route. What were you thinking in mid sprint, seeing Budda just basically get reeled in like a fish in water?
So check this out, right? So Budda get the pick, boom. Like you said, DK's in front of me. I'm right on the side of him. I see Budda get the pick, and the only thing that I see, DK just
he put the head
I was like,
down.
oh boy. And he got it on his mind. So I see Budda got a good head start. He like 10 yards in front of him. I'm like, yeah. I'm running behind Budda. I'm like, we about to do our celebration. And we end up still doing it. But we about to do our celebration. I'm like, yeah, we about to turn up right now. My boy got a pick sit. We got a pick back-to-back games. We about to turn all the way up. Then I see DK just getting closer and closer. I'm like, yeah, Budda, yeah. Next, as he getting closer and closer, I say, Budda, he coming, Budda. like a dog was chasing. I said, Budda, he coming. He coming right behind you. He's right behind you. Next thing you know, you end up tackling.
Hey, Pat, you already know, like, if for you listeners and viewers that are watching us, if you ever been to a track meet and you see one sprinter running with their head down and the other sprinter running with their head back, like a dog chasing them, you know who moving faster. Like you said, Pat P, he can't put that head down and was going. And I think it was probably after the first 30 yards, Budda was like, that head was back. Yeah. And it was like a dog was chasing him.
All right, so now I'm a vouch for my man, Budda. Okay. On that same drive, that was a 10-play drive, and DK came out 2 plays before that,
which is huge. People don't understand. Exactly. And that's the thing I tell people all the time when it comes to being a defender, especially in the NFL, we don't come out unless you're injured. Now your boy Dre, I know you said last episode he out of shape. I don't know if he was dealing with an injury or he just conditioning, but he came out a few ball games, a few plays in the second half. But mostly we don't come out. And wide receivers, they sub in and out all the time. So good point about that. Because if Budda Baker was out there for 10 plays, and one thing about Budda Baker, every play he's going 110%. Right. He's giving it his all. Mm-hmm. So when he caught the momentum and the energy you used just to make that play, and then when you realize you have the football, you got to kick it in another gear. Right. I mean, that takes a lot, and it doesn't help when you got a guy who's a strong sprinter like DK who ran 4.3, and Budda ran 4.45. So it's not like Budda's slow. He just he didn't have a lot of gas in his tank.
And that's the thing too about the listeners as well. When you see guys, like myself or any other corners, like top-notch corners, like Jalen, Trey White, these guys can vouch for me as well. What they do is they'll send a third-string receiver in
just to run them off.
Run you deep.
Oh man,
just to run you deep to bring the number 1 guy back in fresh so he can run a route. I'm like, man, I'm playing the whole game. Why you can't play the whole game?
Hey, no question. Or you gonna tell a third-string receiver, bro, if it's a run play, come block me.
Right.
Don't run me off,
man. Come on, man.
Yeah, let's battle a little bit. Don't run me off, man. Because now, in your mind, Pat, you like, man, listen, I can't let this dude who got fresh legs think he got to step on me. So now you got to put in an extra gear.
Right.
And you're using more energy.
Right.
Yeah, man, people in this Pat.
And that's what Seattle do all the time.
That's inside. That's inside information because a lot of people don't understand. When you watch the NFL ball games and we watch some of these quality secondary guys, they're not coming out. No. These receivers come out. They take themselves in or out. Even if it's a big play, even if it's not to your guy, you got to chase down to try to make a tackle. And guess what? that receiver's coming out. You got a fresh guy coming in trying to make a name. No question. No question. And Pat, that's a good segue talking about DK Metcalf. Now, last week after the Cowboys victory, I highlighted the matchup between you and number 14, DK Metcalf. And
yes, you did.
I said it was going to be a 5-star matchup. I said it was a 5-star matchup. Man, looking at some of the numbers, and this stat is courtesy of NFL Next Gen Stats. Metcalf versus Peterson. Pat shadowed DK on 42 of 49 routes. That's 86%. DK 4 targets, 1 reception for 6 yards, 1 interception. Now, this is the show. The show is yours, Pat. This is your floor right here. man, the mindset going into that ball game, and at one point in time, did you realize, like, yeah, I'm in my bag right now. This is going to be an A+ game for me against Metcalf.
The first play, they just made Lockett made a heck of a catch, and Russell made one of the best throws that I had to defend in a long, long time. From the first play, if anybody go watch that play, I quick jam.
You jumped,
like we talked about. I'm coming to set.
You wanted to set the tone. Hey, listen, listeners. That's why for our faithful, fans here on All Things Covered. Remember a few episodes ago, Pat said sometimes he liked to set the tone. I remember you did against AJ Green some years back. You just took a penalty on purpose. Mm-hmm. And what Pat is saying, go back and watch the first play. He jumped into Lockett's chest. Mm-hmm. I mean, bam, 2-hand jam, bam. You know what I mean? Bam. And Russell was able to gather himself. Pressure didn't get there. And explain to the listeners and viewers, Pat, that sometimes you can be in great position and the play is just a better play. That was the situation there. Talk us through that play.
Man, that was like I said, I quick jammed from the get-go. We was in quarters, so I knew I could be aggressive depending on what route that we got. But
could you explain to our viewers and listeners what is quarters?
So quarters is basically each defender in the secondary. So you have 2 corners and 2 safeties. Both each player is covering a quarter portion of the field.
A fourth of the field.
Yeah, a fourth of the field. So, and the only way both guys will literally cover, all 4 guys will cover the fourth of the field if one does a China and the safeties can double team number 1. Only time it turns into man-to-man if we get all verts. Mm-hmm. So if the number 2 receivers go past 10 yards, their responsibility is now carried over to the safety.
The safety is playing man-to-man, basically.
Exactly. And you got the linebackers playing quarter flat, which the linebacker's responsibility, or the nickel, is to push those guys over the top to make those guys run humps. So the safeties can maintain their inside position to make the quarterback put air on the ball and give the safety a better opportunity to break. So yeah, we was playing a quarter defense. Like I said, I knew I could be aggressive. And that I was, and I knew I didn't have any help over the top. So DC actually threw me off my track because I was upfield shoulder. Mm-hmm. But once 2 went out to the flat in the quarter as a quarter flat defender, it's called quarter flat. So if number 2 goes to the flat, as you know,
he take him.
He got to take him. He got to run through. So versus him running over or under, he ran through us.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like put me back on the low hip, but with me having some of my savvy vet skills, got my hands low a little bit, pulled myself back in position. And right when I was getting in position, I heard the ball, like when you're on the side, you hear ball. Mm-hmm. And right when I look up, it was coming down, and I had his right hand like clenched a little bit to where he had to make.
That's another savvy vet move, young corners that are listening and watching us right now.
Yeah.
Also, referees don't see that in-game action. They don't see that.
No. So if you go back and watch that play, man, I literally put so many savvy vet moves in that one play. It's not even funny. But anywho, got my hands low, clenched them, and as I'm leaning into him, I see the ball just literally come down like at the corner of my eye, and I just tried to get my hand in there. And the ball literally, it was so crazy because I saw it go right into his arm. He didn't catch it. It went straight into the pocket.
It went the only place it could have gone is where it went. That's exactly. When I started play, I'm like, the ball went the only place it could go for him to catch it because he had his arm already cradled while you had his right, and it just dropped.
Yeah. Exactly.
in the ideal spot.
Just like the one in the fourth quarter when he damn near out of bounds and had the right foot down and dragged the left. That was just
that Russell.
I mean, those were just tough contested throws. It's nothing. Yes. That's what people. Oh, you got burnt. Oh, you got beat. You got this. You got that. You suck. What the fuck are you talking about? Excuse my language. Like
they let it be known, man.
Right. Like you like the guys get paid to catch the ball too. Like,
exactly.
And Russell in the league, these quarterbacks are good enough to put the ball
the best
in
the world.
Type of spots.
They're the best in the world.
Like I've seen Cy Young winners give up home runs. That mean they suck. I seen Hall of Famer give up touchdowns. That mean they suck.
Yeah.
But remember this: it's only 47 all-decade DBs in the league, and guess who's one of them?
Pat P.
I'll let me.
Okay. Let it be known then, like Bron said, put some respect on your name, Pat.
They be tripping, man.
Dick LeBeau used to tell us all the time, legendary coach, DC, I had in Pittsburgh, Hall of Fame coach, played the game. He used to tell us all the time, sometimes you get the bear and sometimes the bear gets you. It happens. When you're playing good on good, they're going to do some good things also. And this is the beauty. This is the beauty about me, Mac. That whole time, I gave up 2 big plays. But if I was mic'd up my whole time in the game, I came out second half, said they ain't gonna catch another ball. I said one thing about me, I rise up more in the second half because I know that's when the game is on the line. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I came out that time. I said I don't give a damn what happened. PI holding, they ain't catching another ball. That's the mentality you gotta have.
I had 2 PBUs and a pick.
That's that savage mentality, revenge season.
Yeah, ain't nothing ever gonna hold me down. So to all you fans, that's always in my comments, my all that, and the hell with y'all. Y'all ain't nothing but ops.
They don't understand. And the best way you can put this and to simplify what you're saying, Pat, is for the fans that are so judgmental. Every day you go into your job, whatever your workplace is, you're not having an A+ day every day. Sometimes you might have a B+ day. Sometimes you might slip up, and that assistant who's working under you might outshine you. It happens, right? But the thing about your profession, it's not a fishbowl lifestyle. We don't get a chance to see when you mess up. You know what I mean? And it comes with the territory. You know what I mean? So just understand sometimes when you watching these players on Sunday in the National Football League, the highest of the heights, it's the best of the best. I don't care if they're playing on a bad team. They're the best in the world at what they're supposed to do. Exactly. So it happens. But the mentality you got to have, which is a savage mentality, like Pat P, and why he's still one of the best to ever do it in his position right now, they won't catch another thing. And speaking of that, I didn't know something, Pat. And like I said, shout out to NFL Next Gen Stats. Man, per NFL Next Gen Stats, Metcalf, and these stats are entering the game from last year. Metcalf lined up against Peterson on 29 of his 56 offensive snaps in week 16 of last year. Metcalf finished with 1 target, no catches on 35 routes, only time in 21 career games he's been catchless. So, I mean, going back to last year, week 16, and the matchup we just saw Sunday night, I mean, you 2-0 right now.
Yeah, man. Hey. I didn't say it.
Jay-Z said men lie, women lie, but one thing that don't lie, numbers. All right, before we get to around the league, man, Russell Wilson, curly hair Russell Wilson is a bad man. We talked about some of them. Yeah, I call him curly hair. He got that good hair. He got that mixed breed hair. So curly hair Russell Wilson, we talked about some of the amazing passes he were able to complete against you guys. But in the second half, especially in overtime, you found a way to neutralize Russell Wilson, make him look a bit normal. 3 big-time interceptions. He had the lowest rating of the year, 84.4. He threw for over 300 yards, but those 3 costly interceptions were huge. He had just 3 picks all season and had 3 on Sunday. That was the first pick he threw in Arizona against the Cardinals since 2012. So he's had success against you guys there in Arizona, but talk about the adjustments you made in the second half. You just spoke about the individual adjustments you had to make, but overall team concept, the adjustments you made against curly hair Russell Wilson.
We wanted to speed up his process. In the first half, we was a little passive, a little too, soft, as far as our pressures, wasn't really getting after him because we know what he can do. We wanted to be responsible in our rush lanes. So after that, we saw you just having way too much time what we were comfortable with. So Vance, started dialing up some more pressures.
Hey, Vance came with some heat.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he started.
He did that.
Yeah. He wanted to speed up his process, force him to make decisions quicker, because we're a very, very fast team. So we knew that he wouldn't be able to run around on us like he do against other teams, because our speed and athletic ability is match for match. So we brought a little bit more heat in the second half, giving them some different looks, trying to confuse them a little bit, and it worked for us. And like I said, we just wanted to just continue to chip away. And for those guys, they had 27 points, I believe, in the first half.
I think it was 27.
27 to 24, and to only score 7 points in the whole second half. That was definitely a great adjustment by our defensive staff.
Well, real quick, we're gonna look ahead. You guys have a bye week coming up. This weekend, you're off with COVID, and the thought process in trying to be as safe as possible. What are you guys required to do? I know normally in a bye week, you guys will have practices throughout the week and then have an extra day to be off and maybe go, on a mini vacation or a travel or something like that. But what can't you guys do right now with COVID and how the league is trying to police that situation?
Oh man, we can't do nothing. It's going to be a normal week for the most part. We got to get tested every day, and that's it. Can't leave. You got to be here. You know what I mean? Like you said, you got to get tested every day. So it's just going to be a normal week. We're just going to have, 4 or 5 days off from the facility, far as, no meetings, no workouts. Just have 5 days to ourselves to where we can enjoy our families and get our bodies back up under us, so we can get ready to make this 9-game run and see where those 9 games take us, and and see where the season leads us from there.
Now we're in the Around the League portion of our show. We get a chance to talk to Pat P about what is going on outside of the Arizona Cardinals facility. A former college mate of yours, granted you didn't play together at LSU, but you guys are alum of the Tigers there in Baton Rouge. OBJ out for the season, tore his ACL Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, a huge loss. I don't know if you actually saw the play, but it was a crazy play. He actually tore his ACL trying to make a tackle.
The first play or something like that, right?
I think it was the first or second play. Clearly, it was the first series, man. And I know OBJ personally, man. Just have you heard from him? Have you reached out to him? And what are your thought process about his mindset in trying to come out from this injury and be the spectacular player he was before this injury?
Yeah, it sucks to see Odell go down the way that he did. I know he put so much into his offseason to get back where he once was. I haven't reached out to him just yet because I obviously know O is a very global figure. So I wanted to let everything die down a little bit and probably reach out to him within the next couple of days. But it's definitely, it sucks to see a warrior go down like that. Because we know how much he loves the game. We know how much he put into the game. And, we had conversation in the offseason, feeling like this was going to be his best year. So, devastating news once I saw it. I wish nothing but the best and speedy recovery. And I know he's going to put his head down and grind and come back better and faster than he once was.
And talking about another wide receiver, Antonio Brown just signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Granted, he did not play this past Sunday against the Las Vegas Raiders, but I think he's expected to make his debut week 9, if I'm not mistaken, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we both know AB. You played against AB. AB was a former teammate of mine. You look at the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. I think those were the 2 legit teams he was considering. He decided to go with to Tampa. I know you really respect and love his game, but do you believe he has that old AB left in the tank? And if so, how good could Tampa Bay be?
I think he does, man. I think honestly, not really knowing the situation with Antonio and just being on the outside looking in, I just think he just got to get back to who he once was. You know what I mean? the hell with all, with all the stuff that comes with being a great football player. Continue to stay on that grind, continue to believe in what got you here. You know what I mean? So I just think, with this time, with him being off, I think he, me personally, I hope that he learned his lesson. I hope that he was able to mature in this process. And I think signing with BA, I think that was a great choice, because BA having him when he was, Antonio versus when he's now AB, float like a butterfly, sting like AB before he was that guy. So BA, I believe they have a very, very unique relationship, and BA is gonna, and BA have a very unique way on settling guys in and making sure they understand that it's not about you. You in it with the team,
yep,
or you're gone. And so I think this is a match made in heaven, and I do think AB has a lot left in the tank.
Out of all the wide receivers you either faced in a matchup or you've watched in their prime, where would you rank AB? Like all the receivers you played against or you watched in their prime, where would you rank AB? Because I know you've been high on him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been talking highly on that dude for forever, man. Since I had my first opportunity going against the Steelers. We both was young, but I was guarding Mike Wallace that game, and AB was like kind of like the slot, actually Hines Ward was the Z, but when he came into the game, AB was the Z and Hines went into the slot. So in base, it was Hines and
Mike Wallace.
And Mike.
Yep.
And so I went with Mike because obviously, Mike was the faster guy. And I think AJ Jefferson was our other corner, so he always went to Hines. But seeing where he came from and to what he is now, it was like, yeah, this dude belonged, because he's been doing it for a long, long time. So and at a consistent level too. So I put AB at probably he's top 3 for sure. I just don't know where I'm gonna put him, because I got Julio, I got Calvin. So like him and Calvin to me will be like, because I think he had a better career than Calvin, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He got better numbers. But Calvin was just a different specimen, man. That dude was just different. To be 6'8", running like a gazelle, like that dude was just that wasn't normal. You know what I mean? He didn't belong on the football field, but he was just a freak of nature. But then you got Larry. Larry in there's a top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
D Hop. So I definitely put AB in top 3.
Top 3, no question, no question. Well, the team you guys played a few Monday nights ago, they're still having some issues. I guess they still haven't gotten over the loss that you handed them in the Dallas Cowboys. James Slater of the NFL Network reported that an anonymous player called coaches unprepared and not good at their jobs. Man, when you hear stuff like that from an anonymous player, what are your thoughts?
Man, put a date on it, man. If you're going to go out there and say, man, put a date on it. Don't be a anonymous player calling out your coach. You know what I mean? I just think if you had something to say like that, you go address the coach personally. You know what I mean? You go, his door is always open. You go holler at him like, Coach, I think, Baze Ba, the way we moving around here is not what I'm used to, or it's not getting us better. You know what I mean? You could have went about that a different date, but like Yo Gotti said, man, put a date on it, man. Put your name on it, man. Who said it? And that's what we want to know. Who said it?
And you know what, Pat? One thing I don't agree with that as well. I'm right there with you. I don't believe in players, giving anonymous statements. That doesn't make any sense. Keep everything in the house. There's no reason for the entire neighborhood to know what's going on inside your house. But I don't know if you actually watched the game against Washington. No, Bostic, some people said it was a nasty hit, but clearly it was a personal foul when Andy Dalton was scrambling and tried to slide. He slid feet first, which means the quarterback, he's giving up himself as a runner, and Bostic just nailed him. And he laid on the ground motionless. and none of his players came to his defense. Like none of the offensive linemen, none of the offensive players came to try to figure out. I'm not necessarily saying they should have jumped in Bostic's chest or try to get a personal foul or fight him, but just show that we're not going to tolerate that type of behavior against our quarterback. And then when you see these statements that are coming out from the locker room, they're not together. That's the first thing I see, because your quarterback is the one person you're supposed to protect.
Right.
In snap, out snap.
He's Jesus right now. Like that's the guy you.
Yeah. So when I saw that, clearly, that team is not together and they're worried about the outside noise more than what's going on inside. And because of that, they're still struggling. And last thing we're going to hit on around the league here, all things covered, Pat Peterson, Bryant McFadden, another quarterback, your former draft mate, part of the 2011 draft class. Cam Newton got benched against the San Francisco 49ers. He didn't look good. I watched the game. I don't know how much of the game you watched, but he did not look good.
I did watch that game.
Yeah. The ball was dying on him. The person, the people surrounding him wasn't really helping. The defense wasn't doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. But we got an intriguing statement I'd like to read to you and to our listeners here listening to us here on All Things Covered from former quarterback Jeff Garcia, who's now an analyst. He criticized Cam not just for his play on the football field, but for his clothes. Quote from Jeff Garcia: "You go into this game with 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You throw 3 more interceptions. You get yanked in the second half. There's nothing going good your way. Why are you dressing like that? To bring more attention to yourself? ? I be trying to ask the equipment managers, put me in our jock sock cart and sneak me in the back door, and I'll show up on the football field and do the best that I can do." Garcia. Now he's received a lot of backlash from that statement. Some people say, it wasn't right, racially right, the right thing to say. Clearly, if people felt like he was attacking Cam's character, nothing to do football wise, but attacking his character. When you hear a statement like that from a former player and a former quarterback, what's the first thing come to mind for you?
This is my first time hearing about that. And at the end of the day, the way someone dressed coming to a game, that shouldn't rub you the wrong way. The way a guy dressed, or the way I feel that I want to come up to the game because I may have a fashion sense, or I may be into fashion, or I may have my own brand that I'm trying to get out there. Who do you to try to decide on, what I should wear or how you think I should dress? Who are you, Jeff Garcia? I know you're a great. Well, you played in this league, and you've done some great things for throughout your career. But you got to think about it. Like the times are different. So with younger guys in this generation, that's something that they look forward to. When Travis Kelce dressed the way he dressed, or I go down the line. Guys have ideas. Guys have things that they feel that they can express themselves off the things that they wear. So I thought I would just for my first time hearing it. That's BS. Then to say roll him in a dang on what he said.
He said the sock, the jock sock or something like that. What did he say?
In the back of the stadium? Then when it's time to play football.
In, he basically wanted him to tell the equipment guys to sneak him in. So he can he said, put me in our jock sock cart and sneak me in the back door. That's what he said he would tell the equipment managers. See, one thing I think a lot of people, the ignorant statements that we hear from a lot of folks comes from them not understanding something.
Right.
And with some individuals, when they don't understand something, they think it's wrong. They think it's not appropriate. And fashion is a way for people to express themselves.
Right.
It's nothing. It's no different from me being a wrestling fan, and when I used to see Stone Cold Steve Austin come down to the ring in an Austin 316 shirt, he's expressing himself. Right. The way Cam Newton dressed has nothing to do with who he is as a player. He just happened to have a bad ball game. Right. We just talked about, sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. Right. That happens in the National Football League.
And it's not like he just started dressing like this. He's been dressing like this forever. since he got into the league.
Yes, this is who he is.
Yeah,
this is who he is. You know, some players have an identity outside of the helmet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because of how he dressed, you can get marketing opportunities from doing these things. You know what I mean? You're a corporation. Your job is to promote yourself outside of the brand that we all know of. And I don't think that was right for Garcia, me personally. I think your job is to assess the play on the football field.
Right.
Like, as a football analyst, my job is to talk about what you do in between the lines. I'm not qualified to talk about what you do outside of the lines.
Then on top of this, Matt, you were a quarterback. You played in this league.
You know how hard it is to be a quarterback in this league.
Right. So you trying to tell me you never had a game like this before?
The film don't lie. You know exactly. So don't forget about when you were in
Jeff.
Yeah. Don't act like you were the best thing since sliced bread.
Right. He did Jeff win MVP?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, just checking.
No, he didn't win no MVP. Cam won an MVP dressing like
how he did actually in 2015, actually.
Yeah, and Cam made it to the Super Bowl. I don't even think Jeff Garcia made it to the Super Bowl as a quarterback.
No, I think he won one playoff game with T.O. with the catch, I think.
Yeah, well, he didn't make it to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if you were to compare careers between those two players and not trying to do that, but Cam has had a better career. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's right. That's not appropriate. As an analyst, Pat, you know our job is to talk about what we see in between the lines.
Yeah.
You know, give an unbiased take. I can care less. As long as you're not causing no harm to nobody, to anybody, or to yourself, I can care less about what you're wearing. As long as the team think it's appropriate. If Belichick has an issue with it,
why do you?
Yeah, if you don't have an issue with it, I mean,
if he's following guidelines of the team rules on their attire, why are you talking?
And that's the thing. If Belichick is okay with it, Jeff, clearly you should be okay with it. Even if you're not okay with it, keep your mouth closed. That's my take on it.
Keep your mouth closed. 21 Questions is our segment where we get to interact with all things covered listeners. This is where we answer questions from 5-star reviewers on Apple Podcasts. Ask a question attached to a 5-star rating on Apple, and we can answer during 21 Questions. All right, Mac. This question this week is for you from G Shook 22.
Shout out to G Shook 22.
Yeah. BMac and Pat have brought some crazy deep football knowledge and insight on the podcast. My question is for BMac. Who was your favorite teammate in Pittsburgh?
Wow. Man, it's a tough one.
I think I know who this is.
Boy, that's a tough one. The reason why it's a tough one, Pat, because we were so close.
And all y'all too, man.
Man, we were deep, man. We used to ride deep, man. Oh, man. It's hard for me to pick one guy. So I'll name a few guys.
But if you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one?
Yeah, you got to pick one. You got to pick one, man. You got to pick one. I know them your boys on ESPN magazine.
Yeah, you remember that magazine? That's a dope picture.
Yeah, that magazine was fire. Yeah. You got to pick one,
man. Boy, that's a tough one, man. My favorite teammate, man. I guess I have categories, right?
Oh, man.
So I'm gonna do it like this. The wild guy of the crew was Tyrone Carter. Okay. He was the wild guy of the crew. You know, he's a plum fool.
He's from the crib. He's from
Pompano.
Yeah.
The about whatever guy of the crew was Ike Taylor.
Ike. Yeah,
no question. You know, Ike's already. You know, he's about whatever. He's looking for.
Hey, we gotta get. Man, we gotta get Ike on the show too.
We gotta get Ike tight on the show. No question. Ike Taylor. The funny guy, Chris Hope.
Oh yeah.
Funny guy, C Hope, Florida State guy. Man. Just loose cannon. Man, Peasy, Joey Porter.
Oh, yes, indeed. I was a teammate of Peasy, too. I can attest to that.
Yeah, Peasy. You know, Peasy's my guy, man. Boo-Ray guy, my Boo-Ray guy.
Yes, sir.
Man. The guy who thought he know it all, Larry Foote.
Oh, yeah, you can tell Foot. I was a teammate of Foot, too. You can
you know nothing. Foot thinks he don't think he can lose a debate or argument.
And nothing sports related. He know everything from
everything.
You know, Foot told me this. He's like, man, you know, shucks. He said, you know, Whip Chamberlain did not score 100 points. He said it's not on TV. He said it was I forgot what his point was. It was on the radio. He said nobody saw it.
What?
He said, so he don't believe it.
Man, for us to understand, that game that Wilt scored 100 points and 50 rebounds, people were actually at the game just because it wasn't televised.
He said nobody came vouch for it. He said
that's
nobody
the issue.
can see it.
And you can't tell him anything.
You can't tell him nothing
differently.
Nothing to change his mind.
No question. When it came to, just trying to be well put together, either the suit or the uniform, I'll go Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark used to always think his swag was supposed to be on point. Yep. And currently he still feels that way. When it comes to my homeboy, if I need a riding partner with me, if I need to go somewhere, it didn't matter what time of the night. No question.
I already know.
Hey, if I need a riding partner, let me tell you a funny story about me and Will. So I broke my arm in 2008, bro. I broke my arm in 2008. I broke my arm on that Sunday. Mm-hmm. I had surgery Monday. So I got a splint. They just put a whole plate and like 10 screws in my right arm. Uh-huh. I mean, I got a whole splint on it, man. And at that time, it was getting cold in Pittsburgh. So I had surgery. Actually, that Monday morning, I had surgery. So me and Will stayed in the same condo spot in Pittsburgh. So that Wednesday, Pat, I'm a big time Lil Boosie fan, right? Mm-hmm. So Lil Boosie was doing a concert in Pittsburgh. So Will was like, yo, Mac, man, got Lil Boosie coming to town, man. Lil Boosie, what you want to do? And I'm like, man, Will, I'm on all this narcotic, man. I ain't supposed to be going nowhere. I'm doped up on these pain pills. That's narcotic, right? So he's like, man, Mac, you show we can go in there. They're gonna look out for us. In Pittsburgh, they used to show us love. So we go to any club, it's whatever. So I'm like, man, no, Gabe, man, I just had surgery. So me on Wednesday, mm-hmm. I convinced myself I was feeling better. So we'll go to practice. Uh-huh. He come back. Mac, he checked on me. Mac, how you doing, Mac? You good? Mac, everything good? I said, man, I'm straight. He said, man, I'm going to Lil Boosie. What you want to do? I ride with you all the time. So he put that pressure on me. Like,
he put that.
Anytime you need a riding partner, I'm always riding with you. I said, man, shoot. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and pop a few pills then, and I because it was getting cold outside. So long story short, man, I jumped in the Charger with Will, man. We headed downtown, man, to Pittsburgh, man. We in there with Lil Boosie. Got in the club, man. Lil Boosie rap. Lil Boosie did 3 songs, not even the full 3 songs, and got up out of there.
Oh,
I said, man, ain't this about a man? Listen, I'm in there with a broke arm, fresh off of surgery, a whole day and a half ago. I'm in the club, man, bopping the Lil Boosie, man, with my dog Will Gay. So yeah, but Will Gay, man, whenever I need a riding partner, that's who I call. So he got me out fresh out of surgery. But yeah, long story short though, man, Pat, we a close group, man. Casey Hampton, James Ferrier, Hines Ward, Nate Washington. I mean, Big Ben, man, we were deep. We were deep. Even the young guns, man, Pouncey, Cam, Vince Williams, man. We were a close group. And the thing about that group, we're all retired now. But, we're all in a group chat, bro. We got like 20 of us in a group chat that we still rock with each other.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
We still rock with each other. But, man, appreciate you, G Shook 22 for that question, man. Real quick, who's your favorite teammate? I know you still playing and you play with a lot of great individuals, but do you have a favorite teammate, Pat?
My favorite teammate of all time. I'm in the league. I'll probably say, and this have nothing to do with any other people that I play with, but this guy was just, I don't know, we was the same age actually. We came in together, and I'll never forget. And I gained so much respect from him when this happened. Sam Acho. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we got drafted together. I think Sam got drafted like in the 5th round or something like that. So anyway, we're going into our 3rd year. And I had just got, voted captain on the team, this, that, and the other. And I was on my phone, but I was texting, just trying to get like a last minute text out or whatever. And like a couple young boys that was looking at me. So after the meeting, Sam was like, yo, P, I don't, you got these young boys looking at you, man. So with you being on your phone, it makes it seem like it's okay. You know what I mean? And I just want to bring that to your attention because I noticed it, the young boys looking at it. In the next meeting, they had their phone out. Yeah. So I was like, damn. I was like, all right, man, I appreciate Sam for like making me aware of that. And from that point on, it made me aware that, no matter what I'm doing, it's always eyes on me.
Everybody's watching.
You know what I mean? So shout out to Sam Acho. We got to get Sam on the show too. He just wrote a book that he can talk about. Sam is a very, very deep guy, very spiritual guy. I love that guy to death, man. We talk all the time, text all the time. So yeah, Sam Acho, my favorite teammate.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Mhm.
That's what's up. Well, it's halftime for us. We're going to take a quick break, but on the other side, we'll be joined by one of the best wide receivers in the game, teammate of Pat P, DeAndre Hopkins. Stay tuned. Well, we're back from halftime, and like we promised you guys early in the show, we have a special guest joining us here. All Things Covered, episode 6, 2013 first-round selection, 3-time first-team All-Pro, most receiving touchdowns in the NFL since 2017. Pat P's teammate with the Arizona Cardinals, one of the best wide receivers in the game right now, DeAndre Hopkins. Man, appreciate you joining us here on All Things Covered. Man, first and foremost, let's get to the big story. Sunday Night Football. Outstanding game from both sides. You balled out, Pat P balled out. But when you look at your entire professional career, where would you rank that ball game from Sunday night among the wildest ball games you participated in?
Man, that's a tough question. Obviously, previously playing against the Chiefs last year, go to win a Super Bowl up 21-0. That was an exhilarating game, but I'm gonna have to go with this game right here because obviously my team won and it was a Super Bowl contender. It was a back and forth game, definitely great game by the Seahawks. But this game right here is number one for me in my NFL career. Collegiate, I would say beating LSU, in the bowl game. Those guys was predicted to beat us. But NFL
that was the
career,
Peach Bowl, right? That was the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this game right here by far, man, it tops them all.
Pat, what about you? I know you participated in some wild games also.
Yeah, this is probably number 3 for me. My number one wildest game was actually another Seattle game. The 6-6 game when we went into overtime, we ended up tying in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the exact year. That was 1. 2 would have to be when we beat Seattle in 15. All of them actually is going to be Seattle games. Mm-hmm. When we beat Seattle up there in 15, I thought that was a great game because it was almost like this one. We was down in the fourth quarter. We had to find a way on defense to make stops and give Carson back the ball. And my boy Six did the rest, Andre Ellington. And this will be number 3 by far. It was a great gutty team effort. And we just wanted it more. We knew if we just hung in there and got the right breaks that we needed at the end of the game, that we was going to win. Hey, yo, so on Sunday night, D-Hop, I know you probably didn't see it, but once Kyler noticed the single high coverage, he literally started smiling. Obviously, with me being in practice with y'all and on the side, I know y'all always licking y'all chops on those one-on-one matchups. Talk to us a little bit about that touchdown catch.
Man, so that play right there was designed play to try to catch those guys off guard. They didn't do exactly what we thought they were going to do, but we got the look that we wanted, and that was one high for him to rotate that safety down. And Kyler knew off the rip he was coming to me. I knew we talked about in practice. This is a deep ball. This is a touchdown. We going for it. No back shoulder. With this head down. So I knew from the rip that all I needed was that corner just to stand up a little bit, and
right.
I was taking off. And if you look at it, man, he don't even get his hand on the laces. He just get it and throw it up because he already knew what it was. Where it needed to be. But man, when I seen it on Twitter, I was like, man, he really bad. And I was like, man, nah.
That's coming.
But bro really was smiling, man. It's hard for us. We don't get too many one-hot looks, man. So, what we do is go time.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage of it. But we're gonna take it back a little bit. We're gonna go back to your high school days, bro.
Not the high school.
You had 28 interceptions, 5 defensive touchdowns. Were you that nasty on defense?
AP, you got to put that thing on, man. See, my high school was country, though. My high school was country. It's hard for us to go back and find the highlights. You know, we
right.
you know, man, they just started letting the DBs wear low tops when I was coming in.
Oh,
you had some high tops? You was out there with some high top cleats?
What'd you say?
I said you out there with some high top cleats?
Man, at first I was, man. But you had to earn low tops. You know, it wasn't no kind of schools. But man, we played against some good talent. You know, I played against Martavis Bryant, who was a 5-star. You know, he basically the rival high school, had a pick 6 on him. Kind of helped me become, you know, that ball necking kind of guy, because when I was a basketball player, then, you know, they were telling me, you know, 7-on-7 is good for you. I always thought I wanted to play quarterback. And they was like, you know, man, you're long, you can catch real good, you got big hands. So let's see what you do on the 7-on-7. And before I stepped on the field and played, I was, you know, catching interceptions in 7-on-7s. And I was like, you know, this is a good position right here. And my first high school game against the number 1 team in the state, I caught 3 interceptions, man, my first game. And me not really being, you know, into football like that, because I was a basketball player, I didn't know the significance of 3 interceptions. So, you know, so you know, after the game, the following week, the news, you know, local news, like, oh, we want to interview you. I'm like, you know, y'all want to interview me for what? Like, man, you had 3 interceptions. I'm like, okay, you know, and I still kind of really didn't understand the significance of having a lot of interceptions until I got to college. And I'm getting, you know, I was basketball and football, but the football team asked me, did I want to play DB also? And they were low at receiver, and they knew I could catch. So they was like, all right, we're going to put you over here at receiver and see what you can do, because we need help right here. And, you know, I just kind of naturally caught that gift at receiver, man. But I was a DB throughout, you know, high school, and that's what I thought I wanted to be. But, you know, man, 28 interceptions. I think I still got the record. Stephon Gilmore, Jonathan Joseph. It's a lot of South Carolina, you know, DBs that are in the NFL that you know, that are DBs now, and I think I still hold that record. And that was only 3 years too, man.
Man,
3 years.
That's crazy.
I mean, my thing is this though. At what point did they decide to not throw your direction? Like, I mean, after 15, 16, 17, you would think the offense would get the notice, like, yo, Hopkins play some football. We need to throw the opposite direction.
It was after my junior year.
Damn.
Yeah, they put
by that time the damage was done.
So
yeah, it was already done.
So I had to get in the middle of the field. Yeah, man.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. So anyone that follows you and your career know about the relationship you have with your mom, who's legally blind. But, you know, talk about, you know, how influential she's been in your life. And I heard that she attends almost every ball game that she's able to attend. But just talk about that one-on-one relationship you have with your mom.
Oh yeah, you know, like a lot of, you know, young, you know, Black African Americans, you know, single parent household is common, and, you know, just like a lot of other people, you know, grew up in a situation, you know, that we had to, you know, make it out, and you know, everything around us was, you know, resourceful, you know, so, you know, it's a story that, you know, a lot of people, you know, are familiar with, man. I think that's what resonates with a lot of us athletes, and it's a story that, you know, not just but you guys as well have been, you know, in situations like that. And, you know, my mom is, you know, that's my mom and dad when you grow up in a situation like that. So, right. You know, Father's Day, you give mom a gift. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my mom, she's blind, legally blind, and been like that for years. And, you know, she's my number one supporter, my number one critic, you know, off the field, on the field. You know, I got a girl. Oh yeah, mom's got to meet her first. Well, you know, come on, she got to go to lunch with me. Yeah. You know, and when I'm not, when my name isn't heard enough on the football field, she the first one to call me, like, I ain't hear your name enough. What's going on? You know, so you know, man, it's like a lot of other people, man. You know, mom's best friend.
Man, that's a beautiful thing to see, that relationship you have with your beautiful queen, man. But I know a lot of people know D Hop, the football player. I got an opportunity to, as you being my teammate, got an opportunity to see how you move and see some of the things you're intrigued in. I know you're very intrigued in fashion. I know you love fashion, but you just recently picked up another language. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so how I got into the other language, Italian, doing business and fashion with some Italians, and I was at the dinner table with those guys one day, and they were speaking Italian, and they was kind of just talking around me, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna do business with these guys, I need to be able to somewhat understand at least a little bit of this language, just so they can see that he's trying to indulge in our language, because English is a common language all across the world. Right. Traveling to Paris, everyone can speak English, and it's something that's taught early, but I'm like, man, we're only taught to speak Spanish, or certain languages. And, that's what kind of got me indulged in trying to learn another language, and just traveling, man, and just, meeting people and trying to, just do things outside the box that, commonly, we feel like that we can't do.
What's your favorite place you traveled to so far?
Man, my favorite place, bro, is Paris. Paris, the fashion there is crazy, man. You'll get a little mom and pop brand, and it's the best material, everything. But I was supposed to go to Italy, but COVID kind of messed that up. Right. I was supposed to take a nice trip to Italy. Y'all been to Italy before?
Yeah, remember we talked about it. Remember I was telling you about the Amalfi Coast and
oh yeah, that is right.
Milan and all that stuff. Capri. I love Italy. Italy is a beautiful, beautiful place, man. I think you'll definitely love it out there, because it's a lot. It's a lot like Paris, but it's a like far as like in Capri and the Amalfi Coast. It's more like a lot of mom and pop stuff. So if you go to restaurants, it's like you're eating in someone's house. Like they they get all their ingredients, off their farm. What I mean? Out of their garden. So it's real authentic. Authentic. I think you really would enjoy that for sure.
Okay, I'll check that out. Amalfi Coast.
So D-Hop, man, watching you right now, for the audience that are watching us here on YouTube, they see you have a sweatshirt on, More Than a Vote sweatshirt. Talk about what this election means to you. And also, too, you made the headlines actually before you got into the stadium, catching passes and scoring a touchdown. You made the headlines traveling to the stadium, and I think you was in a nice Ferrari with no roof. The roof was missing on Ferrari. Nice, by the way. Yeah, but
man, shout out to the Italians.
No question. Nice Ferrari, man. But on the way to the stadium, you made headlines. I guess there were some Trump supporters on the road, and they felt like, you were driving fast and you kind of flicked them off. But talk a little bit about that situation, along with what the election means to you this year.
Yeah, so, the election, I think it means a lot to not just myself, but everybody. Obviously, you have someone in office, running our nation that considers people something for the flag, son of a bitch, so anytime you have a person like that is disrespectful to a group of people when they're standing for something good, obviously that's not a good sign. That's not something that is good. I feel like for people who mean well, like my brothers, like Colin Kaepernick, and so I think it's not just sports, obviously, More Than a Vote. LeBron James and what those guys are doing is it's powerful. It's something that's going to be remembered for decades, and probably the rest of our lives. He's getting a group of people together that are influencers to put out the message to go vote and helping spread the message on where to, what location, which I think is something that has obviously been not interpreted to us properly, how to do those things, which is changing, which back when they took away the Jim Crow laws and stuff like that, back to segregation, even though we're free and we can vote, it's still underlying sentences of where to and how and really what it means, and those things. And so More Than a Vote, man, it's educating people at the end of the day, even if you don't go vote. They're making people aware of your human rights and what you want your country to stand for. So that's why I wear this proudly, this shirt, because it's something that I want to be remembered by as someone who stands up for something, that's on the good, on the good side of things. And, obviously yesterday I made a lot of headlines, which, it's the world, it's the internet. Anything you do now, especially in my shoes, is going to be publicized. Driving on the highway, I guess I got in between a train or, a bunch of cars that I wasn't supposed to be in between in my car. And, they was honking the horn at me and stuff like that, I guess, to tell me to get out of their way. And, I didn't. And the guy in front of me stepped on his brakes and, tried to stop dead in traffic. And I got around him and I stuck him a birdie. I really, was about to stick, do the peace sign to him, but this finger right here was kind of hurting, so it didn't make it up in time. But yeah, man, it was like, darn, dude, you trying to stop on brakes and dead traffic, because I'm in you guys, train or whatnot, just trying to go to work. And so, yeah, it wasn't nothing, nothing thrown out the car or anything like that. No speeding. Obviously, you see me, right there. If I was in a Ferrari, speeding, I don't think you'll be able to take a still picture of me.
Right.
But yeah, that's all.
Man, I thought it was bogus because heck, we all was in that traffic. You know what I mean? So I didn't see a problem with it because it wasn't a scheduled parade. You know what I mean? We're driving on the highway trying to get to point B. You know what I mean? So man, it just goes to show, man, that it's those people are still out there, man. So we just have to make sure that we stay woke.
Yeah, man, one love,
Yeah,
I'm like Bob Marley, one love, peace.
Yes,
that's what I stand for. World, you know what I'm saying? Peace, man.
Peace until you get on the football field.
Right. Well, since we're talking about the
that's it.
Justice,
until then.
Right. Do you think the NFL, as of right now, doing a good job promoting social justice, and what more would you like to see done to raise more awareness on it?
Yeah, I think they're taking steps. This is something that kind of just smack everybody in the face. A lot of occurrences back to back that happens. It's like it's a lot of stuff that's been happening, but now you got cameras, so I think it's kind of taking them by surprise on what's going on and how fast people are reacting and wanting an answer. But I think they're doing their best of trying to do things. Obviously, we're, us, you and I, as players, we play a big part in that also of helping them get that message out. And I think a lot of players are doing their job, doing that. And do I think that the NFL could do more? I think they're doing a lot of good stuff. Obviously, some stuff that we don't see. And so from they could do more. Man, I would want to be able to talk to somebody there, because I think that one thing they could do more of is talk to us players and let us really decide and dictate certain things, the current players. And I'm not part of the NFL PA on the team, on the board, and I don't think that if you are on that board or not on that board, you should only have a say. So, that's one thing that I felt like that, people that represent us, they mean well, but, some people also got a voice and, have great opinions, but not necessarily want to be part of that, those guys that have voted for the NFL, PA stuff. And that's probably the only thing that I would say since I've been in the league that I saw that could probably help and make a difference.
Gotcha.
Well, let's transition to Clemson, right? 3 years there, Clemson, South Carolina, University of Clemson, where Florida State probably was whooping you left and right, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Y'all got me.
But when you look at your position, right, Hop, the wide receiver position. I mean, many people feel like Clemson, they're wide receiver U of college football. And when you were in a Tiger uniform, you had yourself, right? Martavius Bryant, a young Sammy Watkins. Also, I forgot Adam Humphries was on that team as well, right? I mean,
Adam Humphries.
Clemson is kind of like
Humphries.
the Pittsburgh Steelers of college football when it comes to hitting on wide receivers. What is the reason for the success at the wide receiver position with Clemson?
I think it's the strength training coaches. I think a lot of people, you know, they don't see the grind that goes on. But once you're in college, man, you know, that weight room and changing your body from freshman to your junior, senior year, it makes a big difference on how you're gonna, you know, play in the NFL. And I think that's one thing that, you know, a lot of people don't see and don't get a lot of credit from. But strength trainers, I think we got some of the best strength trainers in the game on, you know, the way guys run and develop from becoming a high school sensation and really taking that next step, because a lot of guys at Clemson are 3 and out. And so you got to have, you know, a staff and coaches that are helping those guys develop, because, you know, football, man, that's going to come natural. You got to go out there and do your thing.
Right.
But, you know, I think that's something that, you know, I would say we stand out apart as our strength training.
So could you tell Dabo and the program was on the verge on something really special when you was leaving?
I could, bro. And man, it was definitely that LSU game that kind of got us over the hump. But you know, you got, you know, SEC and, you know, obviously, you know, Florida State, but, you know, Clemson have good teams, but we would just have okay teams. We'll have great players on our team, but once Dabo got there, he gave the whole town, the city of Clemson, a different spark.
Right.
Just the way, you know, he coached, and, you know, the stories you hear about him just playing pickup basketball game with players, it was just a different energy.
That's dope.
So after Clemson, you know, 2013, your first round selection to the Houston Texans, instantly, you know, you really showed the organization they made the right choice in drafting you. But I can tell you this much, the people that were throwing you the football, no shade to them, but they weren't ideal. I mean, early in your career, you had Matt Schaub, Case Keenum, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brock Osweiler, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Mallett, TJ Yates, Brandon Whedon, Tom Savage. And then in 2017, now, listeners, if you're listening to us on the podcast and you're not watching us on YouTube, you should be watching us on YouTube as well. You didn't get a chance to see D Hop. The names that I was reading off, he put his head down on the table as I'm reading these names off. And then 2017, Deshaun Watson arrives in Houston. Man, talk about how excited you were when they drafted Deshaun Watson, because you still had success with the guys that I mentioned. You still had success, but now you get a proven, talented player at the quarterback position. How important was he for your career in Houston when you guys played together, and how excited you were when they drafted him?
Man, when they drafted Deshaun Watson, I think I told everyone in my family that's the happiest I've been since being in the NFL.
Wow.
Wow.
True statement, man. That was I made, you know, went to the Pro Bowl, hung out with some guys I looked up to. But when we got Deshaun, man, I knew then that, you know, my career could excel to, you know, my potential. And him and I broke records together. You know, obviously he's still doing his thing down there, you know, with what he has, and, you know, he'll turn around. I know Deshaun, he's a leader. You know, he'll baller, but man, once we drafted Deshaun, man, I think, you know, I was happier than I was obviously anybody, because he's throwing me the football, and you know, we bonded from day one. Obviously, 2 Clemson guys. He came to Houston. You know, I gave him advice, you know, just about, you know, how to maneuver, man, and how to be a professional, and that was something that, you know, he's obviously taking the next step and doing right now.
Well, speaking of your former quarterback, we're gonna talk about Kyler on Monday night on the broadcast like last week. They said you said Kyler Murray was the first quarterback to yell at you as a pro. But why? Like, walk through us like how that went down. Like I didn't even know that.
Man, you know, he got a high pitched voice. So at first, you know, I didn't know. I was like, man, who yelling at, man? Who yelling at? Who? Then I had to look, and he was looking at me. I was like, oh, shit, he on me.
Like it was what happened though? Like it was just a miscommunication.
Man, so it was a miscommunication on my behalf. He gave a signal. I ran the wrong signal that he gave, which ended up to him throwing an interception. Luckily, you know, you guys played good defense and got the ball back right to us after, but it was on a slant. Landon Collins caught it. I was supposed to run a go. I ran a slant, and I took Landon Collins to the other side where he was throwing. And you know, man, right after Kyler was on me, man. He was talking about me, you know, getting my playbook. Just,
I mean, funny story right there with Kyler Murray at that stage in his career. You know, he's okay in hollering at a potential Hall of Fame player offensively in DeAndre Hopkins, and I think that says a lot about you, D-Hop, because you're willing to accept when you're wrong, move on, and continue to make plays. So that's big time leadership. And talking about leadership, you know, what you guys currently have there. You know, we talked about the Deshaun Watson move that Texans made in 2017. But a few months ago, you know, the Cardinals and the Texans made big time headlines. The unthinkable happened when the Texans and Bill O'Brien decided to move you, a move that shocked everybody. Even Pat P said he didn't believe it. He thought it was fake news. He didn't believe that actually was a reality. At what point? Well, number one, you can set the record straight, D-Hop, or whatever it is you would like to do here on All Things Covered. But how was the relationship for you guys throughout your career there? And if it became rocky, at what point did it become rocky between you and Bill O'Brien?
Yeah, man, I would say, you know, it was like a head coach player relationship. You know, really wasn't, a relationship, you know, to, you know, just kind of, you know, to say the least. So, you know, there's never nothing like bad or good I can say, you know, because, you know, it was a player coach situation. You know, I was doing my job, he was doing his job. So, you know, I guess, you know, the rocky part, I guess, you know, came when I knew I was about to be traded. And, you know, that's really it. But, you know, I think I'm on the right side of you know, what happened, and, you know, appreciative of, you know, being able to play with the Arizona Cardinals, man, my new team, which, you know, I think I already had pieces to puzzle. You know, it's just, you know, needed a little help, man. So, you know, the situation there, you know, happened. Me being there, leaving early in my career, I guess, you know, saying, you know, but to me, man, you know, knowing the kind of football and the style I wanted to play and where I wanted to be on in a team, you know, it was, you know, a situation that, you know, I was grateful for it to happen. What
led you to believe you would be traded?
Man, me just, you know, my intuition.
Yeah.
And knowing, you know, when you're a football player, you know, you have an intuition, man. You've been around the business long enough, been in the league for 7 years, seeing how things work, seeing what's going on.
Start or sit, Kyler Murray or Deshaun Watson? Man, that's a tough one.
I got to hear this
Start Kyler Murray, sit Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Wow. Why? Can we get a why?
You know, Kyler is you know, a young GOAT. Deshaun is a young GOAT. But the reason why is because Kyler is throwing me the ball in 2 more weeks.
Good answer.
Great answer. Last question before we jump to the superlative part of our show, D-Hop. Man, you did something a lot of players, you know, clearly probably won't attempt to do, which is negotiate your own contract. You recently signed a 2-year deal, $54 million contract, bro. Number one, I applaud you for being able to do that and get it done the right way, that both parties are happy with the deal. But could you fill us in on that process and what led you to that mindset to be able to go into a Fortune 500 company and negotiate your deal and be willing to walk out and get exactly what you wanted?
You know, obviously, you know, it was a decision that wasn't easy. You know, I had to talk it out with my mom, you know, my decision maker that helps me, you know, make all my decisions. And, you know, we prayed on it and thought that, you know, it would be a good thing to do, knowing where I want to be after football. And, you know, for me, it was something that I didn't hesitate to do once I kind of got that affirmative from my mom that we can do this. Obviously, everyone in the NFL has financial advisors, but my financial advisor is, you know, someone that is, you know, overly qualified to be a financial advisor. He's a great businessman. So he's my mentor also. You know, a young, you know, saying a young Black brother, you know, from Houston. So, you know, along with that, having, you know, the education of agents and knowing, you know, the percentage they make and me just feeling like, all right, I know I can go in here and do this deal and you know, the percentage that I can give an agent, you know, it doesn't make sense for me to do and still keep that relationship with the team. I thought that was something that was important to me to have an open communication, you know, with my organization. And, you know, after what happened in Houston, I felt that I wanted a better, you know, line of communication, you know, with what's going on, you know, so I can never be lost in what's going on. And, you know, man, it wasn't easy though. A lot of nights reading, you know, papers, contract languages, because I had a team. I had 3 guys that helped me do it. Two of them are financial advisors, and one of them is like an expert at contracts for the NFL, and not just NFL, but all contracts. So got those 3 guys together, man, and you know, we made history. Did something that, you know, not a lot of athletes have done before, and you know, I think it's something that opened the door for players. You know, and no knock to any agent. My agent was a good agent. You know, it wasn't no bad blood between us. It was just a decision that I wanted to do, and you know, players, we can, you know, we can do a lot if we put our mind to it. You know, other than football, that's just something that we put a lot of hours in. But you know, man, we special people, man. We dedicated in anything that we do. So, you know, I was one of the young guys, and you know, even older guys, you know, to kind of, you know, understand that, start taking the power in our own hand, man. Especially what's going on. You know, it's time for us to, you know, start making you know, business decisions that's, you know, going to change the trajectory of you know, what's going on.
There you have. Great answer. Great answer. Now we're going to transition to the superlative part of our show, D Hop, and these is just rapid questions. We need your first answer, the first answer that come to mind for you. I got the first question for you. Best pro team you played on?
Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
Best basketball player in the NFL?
Best basketball player in the NFL. Dwayne Brown.
Okay.
Ooh, Dwayne Brown, the big left tackle for Seattle.
He legit.
He got something.
He legit, man. Hey, he used to be a tight end in college, man.
At VTech. Yeah. All right. Most underrated wide receiver ever.
Tyler Lockett.
Ooh.
Best quarterback wide receiver duo in the NFL today.
Tyreek Hill, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, no knock there. Last question for you. Toughest cornerback matchup right now for you and over your career. So currently the toughest cornerback matchup for you and then over the course of your career.
I'm going to go Jalen Ramsey because we play each other twice a year.
Jacksonville.
You know, I played Pat, you know, one time, man. Pat was probably overall the hardest matchup, even though, you know, my team won, man. That was probably one of the funnest games I played in since playing in the NFL was against Pat.
No doubt. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you, D-Hop, for joining us here on All Things Covered, man. It's an honor, man. Make sure you stay healthy while you get into your bye week. And, man, y'all boys keep chopping wood with the Miami Dolphins coming up. Matter of fact, you talk about cornerback matchup. You got 2 corners that Miami, they're paying top dollar to, and Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. So that should be a fun matchup coming off of your bye week.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, man.
Anytime, baby.
Well, Pat, I know you play with D-Hop, but what are some of the things you learned through our chat with DeAndre Hopkins?
You know, had the opportunity to get to talk to him about his relationship with his mom. I thought that was a beautiful story for, you know, the relationship that him and his mom share. And like you said, that's his mom and his dad. And for her to be, you know, legally blind and still be able to raise the man that she raised in him, that was a commend to Mama Hop for sure. But you know, Hop is he's into a lot of things. He's just like he talked about. He's just not an athlete. You know what I mean? He learning another language. You know, Italian. Being into fashion. You know, wanting to travel the world. You know, being wanting his voice to be heard. You know, so you can tell that he's a guy that has his hands in a lot of things and wants to see change in this world.
No doubt. One of the best receivers in the game, but also a very, very influential individual outside the lines.
No doubt about it. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to our 6th episode on All Things Covered. If you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe and follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back next Tuesday where you can expect all things will be covered. Peace.